Hello everybody. Real quick, Honey Bear wanted to say, I'm so sorry there's white hair in every video. I can't help it. I'm a white doggy. That's my dog Honey Bear, and she does like to get her hair in every video. Real quick, let's get this camera set up for you guys so you can actually see me. Alright. Looks good. What's up, everybody? Yellow. Okay, so welcome to episode 3 of the Versus series. I promised everyone I would do one on big cubes, and I had already had this whole standard cube edition planned, so I had to get that one out of the way. So yeah, let's go over real quick. Episode 1 was all cubes with corner to core magnets. So let's get all those out of here. Then we had episode 2, all cubes, standard edition, just springs, magnets from piece to piece, basic as they come. Get those out of here. Now we have our 4x4 collection. We're gonna do both 4x4 and 5x5 in this video. But yeah, I'm going to go down the line here and give you kind of the specs on everything. These are all the boxes from everything. We have the our 4x4s. We have the YJ Mini. We have the GAN 460. We have the Chiyon, which is just a kind of a budget 4x4. We have the Meilong 4x4, the WRM Aosu 4x4, and the YJ MGC 4x4. And for 5x5s, we have the Meilong again, Meilong M, the Aoshuang 5x5 from Moyu, and the YJ MGC 5x5. So I know that was a lot of information, so let's go through these one by one and really check them out. So first of all, let's go through probably our least favorite ones first, get those out of the way. So we have the Chiyi S2. This one I did UV coat myself, and I'm still getting the performance perfect. Kind of really just got to lube it still, but this thing feels great. It's non-magnetic. Here's the specs on it. Chiyi Chi1 S2 4x4, $7.99, non-magnetic, came out in December of 2020. 119 grams and 61.5 millimeters, a little bit on the bigger side. That's one of the reasons that I don't like it as much. I actually love the way this thing feels. Like the turning is so smooth on it, but there's a few lockups because of the lack of just like play in the thing and whatnot, and the lack of magnets aligning it. But overall, good cube. I mean, I can't complain. It was my very first cube, and it's done me good. So next in line is the GAN 460, and I kind of giggled at this one just because I bought this when I first got into cubing, and you can see that the layers just don't like to cooperate. But I got this when I got into cubing thinking GAN was the best at everything, and I've soon found out as I got later into 4x4 and other big cubes and other cubes in general, just that there's other brands out there than GAN. I'm not hating on GAN at all. I have their GAN 13, their GAN 12, their GAN 11, or their GAN Mini. I have a lot of their puzzles and I love them, but there's just other stuff out there, and that's kind of what all these videos are about, is showing all the cubes out there at all various price points, but showing how they're not all that different when you break them down on paper. And so if that helps you make a decision, if price helps you make a decision, or looking at it on paper helps you, whatever helps people out. This is an educational channel. I've learned everything I know through YouTube or through the cubing community, so just trying to give back with my experience here. This is a very objective opinion of my experience so far. So anyways, GAN 460 has really strong inner layers. If you can see, it has double magnets right there and single magnets on the outside, so it is exactly double as strong on the inner layers as it is on the outside. And the outside actually feel really nice when you get this kind of broken in the way you want. And it's a little bit of a pain, I will to say, to adjust this thing. You have to take off all 4 centerpieces to get the adjustment tool in there. At most cubes, you can just put your screwdriver or whatever in the middle and it's not a problem, but on the GAN, you have to take off all 4 pieces of all 4 centers on every side to adjust it. And the problem is that by taking the center pieces out, you adjust the rigidity, it gets very flexible. So a lot of times I'll take the center pieces out to adjust it, and I end up over tightening it because it feels like it needs to be tightened. And then when you put the center pieces on, it's now too tight because now it's gotten all that rigidity back. So that's something just to keep in mind. It's kind of a pain to adjust, but that's kind of one of the reasons that once I got it to where I liked it, I just left it. But no cube, any cube that's that hard to get to a sweet spot is really not the one in my opinion. So that's why it's kind of low down on the list. We have a budget cube, and then we have the GAN, which this was $7.99, and the next puzzle on my list is $54.99. So it just shows you the price and the name does not make all the difference. The GAN 460M was released in 2018, September of 2018, 139.5 grams, so it's on the heavy side, and it's 60 millimeters, so it's about standard 4x4 size. I really like my 5x5s to be down at like 60 millimeters, so this is still on the big side to me, but we'll just keep going. So we have our Chi puzzle and our GAN as our worst and second worst. I don't know how you want to rate that. Then I would say next in my ratings here is the YJ-MGC. I know there's other people that agree with me on this, and I know it's not just me, but a lot of people love the MGC puzzles, and I'm not saying they're bad or anything. I'm just saying in my list, I have a good selection of 4x4s, and so I've come to find some stuff that I really like, and I've personalized how I like. But the MGC, it has definitely tighter and stronger magnets on the inside than on the outside. The outside layers feel really nice and are really smooth and everything. That's not a problem. It's more the inside layers that are unsatisfying to turn. It's not even that they're bad. They're not as satisfying of a feeling to turn. So that's why I put it down lower on the list. Let's see, the MGC retails at $19.99. It's magnetic, and one of the things that I haven't really mentioned yet, but some cubes now, and this is just becoming a thing with big cubes, but now have magnetic core options. So this MGC, it's $19.99, it's magnetic. It was released on, May of 2020. It's 115 grams, so it's a lot lighter than the GAN, but still on the little bit heavier side. And it's 60 millimeters, so a very standard size for a 4x4. But what I was trying to get into is that there are magnetic core kits for this now, and there's even pre-made corner-to-core magnetic core versions of this, and those are not so inexpensive. Those are like $50 to $100. I don't quote me because I haven't looked it up recently because I was not interested in buying one for that price, but yeah, they do make magnetized core versions of these, which may improve the quality and may be really what I'm missing out on. But yeah, you can see these outer layers on the MGC, they really get speeded up. I had just a little bit of lube in there, and it gets thick from not using it, but a little bit of use, and it starts really flying. But that is the MGC. Again, it's a great puzzle. It's a great price. It's just not my favorite puzzle. It also, someone else pointed out, I wanted to point this out too, really good corner cutting. Not quite 45, something like 35, but that's really good on a big puzzle like this. So, you got to give it credit where it's due here. So there's the MGC. We have the Chi one, again 460 MGC. Then next on the list is the Mofeng Jiaoxi Meilong. This is the Meilong M, so it is magnetic. Let's see, the MFJS Meilong 4x4M retails at $11.99. It is magnetic. It was released June of 2020. This is on the lighter side. This is 109 grams, and on the smaller side, it's 59 millimeters. So you can see 2 reasons right there why this was higher up in the list. Smaller size, lighter weight, magnets are pretty light. I will say they're pretty light, but they're pretty light on most standard or budget MFJS or MoU puzzles have pretty light magnets in my opinion. But because the puzzle's light, sorry, this again, I just kind of lubed it heavy, so it's getting broken in, but because the layers are so light, the magnets don't need to be quite so heavy to catch the pieces while they're turning. That's something to note, is that when cubes are heavier, they need a little bit stronger magnets to hold those pieces in place. So yeah, the Maylong, again, $11.99, crazy cheap. Many big cubers main this thing. I chose it over the MGC. I mean, the MGC is still only $8 more, but it's just that I like the light, compact nature of this puzzle, and that's what it is. So yeah, that's the Maylong. Now we're getting into my top two favorites, and the number one probably won't be very controversial. Number two might be. So number two is the YJ Mini Jilong or Jisoo. I think they changed the name on it. But this is the 4x4 mini from YJ, and it's $13.99, so it's a budget 4x4. And just like the MGC, almost 45-degree corner cutting. So far the MGCs have had it made on the corner cutting and on the flexibility, which is a huge thing. And that's why the MGC, if the middle layers turned a little nicer, that would probably switch places with the Maylong. But for me, it's not quite doing it. But anyways, the mini comes in at 56 millimeters, and that's one of the biggest sell points for me, is it's small. The specs, like I said, it's $13.99, magnetic, came out in December of 2020, only 96 grams and 56 millimeters. So you can see why I would like this small, light, compact, especially once you've gotten through doing your centers and you're onto your 3x3 stage. I mean, you really fly on this thing, because your muscle, I've said this before, and I truly believe this, but having cubes that are closer in size helps with your muscle memory. So when you're going to, I mean, obviously if you practice a big cube a lot, your muscle memory is going to build by that, but I think by having more cubes around the same size, like a bigger 2x2, a standard 3x3, and then a smaller 4x4 and 5x5, they'll all be closer in size, in range, and that therefore hopefully your muscle memory will serve you better when solving each of them. Again, this is a theory of mine, my opinion, that's it. But yeah, take it or leave it, but I think it has some merit. But anyways, yeah, I love the mini. Like I said, it has great performance in corner cutting. The magnets are just right. The outer layer's pretty light, inner is just heavier. Yeah, I think they really did a great job on this. I think I did not get the 5x5 mini because, as a lot of people have pointed out, 58 millimeters for a 5x5 is just a little bit small. And I can say that once you get down to any smaller size pieces, doing your slice moves to make pairs and whatnot starts becoming a little bit harder. I personally have not used the mini 5x5, so I can't say for sure if it's good or not. But my personal opinion is that 58's a little small, but we'll get to that later. So yeah, this is the YJ Mini. It's a great price, great deal. Would totally recommend it. I mean, it's like I said, it's my backup to my main, and yeah, this is a great puzzle. So last but not least, we have the MoU Aosu WRM, and like I said, this one might not be such a surprise to people because I think this one's been a pretty popular puzzle for a while. For me, it has such a tight, compact, almost 3x3 feel. The magnets feel good. Like, I love the feeling of this thing. This one has an amazing 3x3 stage as well. It's a little bigger, and I'll give you the specs on this here. So it's actually on sale right now. It's usually $43.99. It's on sale for $39.99, and that's at the Cubicle. This is another cube where magnetized cores are optional. You can buy magnetized core kits from places and add them on yourself, or you can go to places like PyCube Shop where you can just buy the pre-magnetized core version for a higher price. But yeah, there's a lot of advances coming around, and you can see which cubes are very popular by which cubes they're making these magnetic core kits for, because it just makes sense that if they're making this magnetic core kit for it, it's because a lot of people are using it. And so again, I think the MGC and this one are the only two that they're really doing that for right now, but I think that the Mini is also on the list to be done as well, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, the Aosu, like I said, is on sale for $39.99. Has an optional magnetic core deal going on, but it was released all the way back in August of 2019. It's 119 grams, so it's like kind of in the middle somewhere. You can tell it feels a little heftier, but it's 59 millimeters, so it's smaller, same size as the Meilong, but the magnets and pieces feel a little more, little nicer. This also has a glossy plastic as opposed to the Meilong has a very, very matte plastic. This is a new Meilong, so I have a feeling after a lot of use it will get very glossy. But if you compare, like, say the Mini or or the MGC or even just the Aosu, those are all very glossy. I mean, even the GAN, I mean, most of them are. It's really just, the lower end really budget. I mean, you can find this puzzle sometimes for like $8, but there's a little bit of lube on the outside actually. But yeah, it's a very matte plastic comparatively to the rest. I mean, I feel like most bigger cubes use glossy plastic, which I don't understand why cubes stopped doing that. I feel like if everyone used glossy plastic, then we would not have this whole UV versus matte plastic thing going on, and I think that it would save everyone a lot of money if they could just buy a glossy plastic version of whatever puzzle they want instead of having to spend an extra $10 on UV. I mean, that's one of the reasons I did all of my own DIY UV coating videos, is because it just seems ridiculous to pay that much money for something that you can definitely recreate. I've done it in my videos, and I still like this puzzle was one that I coated. I mean, I have a ton. My GAN 356M. I mean, some of my favorite feeling puzzles are the ones that I UV coated. So that just can tell you that if you do it right and follow like a little bit of instruction and take your time, you can do it just like the factory. I mean, I'm a pretty nitpicky person, and I genuinely am like really stoked with how my cubes came out. I was very, very nervous and a little worried that I would ruin a good cube. But yeah, I mean, here's another one, my Tornado V3. It came just glossy plastic, because they don't really do matte. They do X-Man or GE does kind of like a glossy plastic instead of a matte, which I actually liked, but it was just kind of an experiment at the time to see if I could UV coat everything. And now that I know that I can, I'm trying to pass that knowledge on. But it's really if you want it, if you can afford to buy it, absolutely do that. But if you can't and you want to try a DIY version, do that too. But anyways, so that takes us through our 4x4s. We'll go through them once more. We have the Chi-1 4x4 non-magnetic, $7.99. We have the GAN 460 at $54.99. We have the YJ-MGC at $19.99. We have the Meilong, the Mofeng Jiaoxi Meilong 4x4M at $11.99. And then we have the YJ Mini at the Mini Zhilong or Jisoo at $13.99. And then we have the Moyu Aosu, like I said, on sale for $39.99, regularly $43.99. I can't, like I say, I wouldn't recommend anything else really. I mean, maybe the Mini, but you can also feel that it's a little bit cheaper of a puzzle. I mean, I love this thing, but you can feel that it's a little bit, probably cheaper materials. This feels very dense. The weight feels good. The pieces feel compact, and it feels nice to turn. Like, it actually feels like a 3x3, and you can do very complicated. That's just me, my nerves. But you can do very complicated algorithms on it very easily, and that's a huge deal to me, because like I was saying, once you get to your 3x3 stage, you really want to just be able to run through it quick, because that's the part that I feel like as cubers we practice so much, is the 3x3 part, But anyways, I think that concludes our 4x4 part. I'm going to jump into the 5x5s now, so let's go ahead and push these off to the side. I don't have quite as many 5x5s as I do 4x4s. I am actually, so I do have some honorable mentions on my list. Like I always say, I did my homework. I did all the research on these cubes, so you don't have to, hopefully. But we're gonna start with the cubes that I have, and at the end I'll talk about a couple cubes that I don't have, but I think that are worth mentioning. So and this is in my favorite order, or my order from least to best. So personally, again, I have the MGC right here. I have the Meilong, and then I have the Aoshuang from Moyu, and the YJMGC is probably my least favorite out of those. It's an amazing puzzle, don't get me wrong at all. I love the kind of like different pastel colored shades. I love the feel of it. It's just that if I had to choose, this is I have good 5x5s in my opinion, so if I had to choose, this just didn't make the cut quite. But it's not that it's not a good puzzle, it's just because the other ones are really good. This one turns great. I mean, you can see I can actually spam on this thing pretty quickly. Of course, right when I say that, it locks up, but for being a 5x5 that I don't really use very often, like I thought it would be a lot more locky and stuff, and this thing feels great. So this is the YJMGC 5x5. It's only $2 more than the 4x4. It's $22.99. And this came out in December of 2019, so it's been out a while. And it's a little heavier at 136, but again, we're talking about a 5x5, so that's not so bad. But it is 62 millimeters, and that's where I was saying, like, I would really love my 5x5s to come in at something like 60. That way, it'd keep it a little bit closer. If you could do like a 4x4 at 58, your 5x5 at 55 and a half or so, and then your 2x2 at like 51, 52, then you would have like pretty steady increments between like a 2 millimeter increment or so between cubes. And I think that would really, relate to some good times and some good muscle memory between the cubes. But I already said that. But anyways, this is another cube that they're offering a magnetic core option. So again, if you want to spend a little more money and you want to get the really decked out version, you can go to certain places and get the magnetic core kits. But you can also buy this cube from like Pi Cube Shop or places with a magnetic core already installed. They will charge you, obviously. It's not nearly as cheap when you buy it pre-done like that, but it makes sense. You're paying for their labor, their time, their ingenuity, and everything. But yeah, the MGC is, like I said, my lowest pick, but like I said, not because it's not a good puzzle, it's just because I really like the puzzles that are to come still. So there's the MGC. Now we're going to talk about the Meilong 5M, and this cube is what got me to get the 4x4 Meilong. This is the cube I've been kind of referencing without really saying the name, but this is the only 5x5 at the moment. There is a new one that is supposed to be around the same size, but for the longest time, this was the only 5x5 that was 60 millimeters that I knew of. There's some that are smaller, some that are bigger, but not many that are exactly this size. And between how light it is, the small compact feel of the puzzle, and just how good the layers turn. I mean, oh my gosh, like when you spam on this thing, it's so light, and it doesn't, even when it catches, it doesn't feel like it's gonna pop or anything. It just feels a little resistance. This cube is just amazing. The 4x4 is good, but it's only 1 millimeter smaller than this, so it wasn't quite the drastic change or feel I was hoping for, but it's still a great puzzle. But this one, again, let's do the specs on this. So this is a Mofeng Jiaoxi Meilong 5x5M, $12.99. Magnetic. It came out in June of 2020. Only 108 grams for a 5x5 and 60 millimeters in size. So this, as far as like size and weight and everything, this is the winner. But I love the next cube so much that it beats this out. And it's not, again, not because this isn't a good cube, but the other one is just that good. But it is also a big jump in price. So that's why everything on these lists, they're equal in performance or very close to equal in performance, but they have very different price points. And that's the main thing I'm trying to show, is that because when I got into this, I kept buying the most expensive, the best brand, or what I thought was the best brand because it was the most expensive. And then I learned the hard way after buying every cube in the freaking market that, that's not the case, that there's great cubes from every company, and it's all about finding what you like. And so that's why I really want to offer my objective opinions and my experiences, because it's just for everyone it's so different, and for me it's been a very different experience from a lot of people that have recommended me things online or through the cubing community. I found I have different preferences than a lot of people, and so going by whatever the hype and whatever the crowd is going with, it just doesn't work for me. I'm usually disappointed when I go along with what everyone else likes. So that's why I wanted to give someone my perspective, and hopefully that helps them. But here's the Moyu Aoshuang 5x5 WRM. This is magnetic, also has the magnetic core optional. The Moyu WRMs, the Aoshuang and Aosu, and the YJMGCs, it shows how popular they are, that those are the ones that companies are making magnetic core kits for, and they're making, actual cubes out of the factory with magnetic cores and stuff now, because people really love these, and they can improve the performance, they will. But this one, like I said, it comes at a more of a price, so it's $39.99 from the store. It came out in May of 2020, a little heftier, just like the Aosu was at $134. And it's not the smallest, it's 61.5, but again, the pieces feel tight and compact. It doesn't feel big when you're turning it, so I think it's all kind of relative, because the MGC technically is only 0.5 millimeter in size bigger, but in my hands it feels quite a bit bigger, where this that's where I might have to measure it with some calipers. Maybe this 61.5 is actually closer to 61 or something. Maybe it's not quite exactly on, but as far as I'm concerned, the Moyu Aoshuang 5x5 is the best out there. It like the Aosu, the outside layers turn like a 3x3. You can do your PLLs and your OLLs and everything on this very easily. The outside layers are definitely a little lighter than the inside ones. You can't see the magnets, so I can't show you if it's double or whatever, but they definitely feel very light on the outside and a little stronger on the inside, which is what you want. But yeah, the one thing to mention about the Aoshuang though is I remember when I was trying to purchase this cube, the mold at the factory had broken, and they actually were sold out almost everywhere. I could not order it. And one of the things that I will mention about this cube, because I don't want to be misleading anyone, is that there have been some manufacturer's problems with it. So the new mold, as they made a new mold for it, it wasn't perfect or worked exactly the same way as the other one, and they were getting some manufacturer's errors because of it. So I just wanted to let people know, buy at your own risk. That was the reason that the Cubicle said they left it off of their best cubes of the year list, was because the new versions just weren't reliable. I have a slightly older version. I got mine before any of that happened, so I got pretty lucky. So I do want to give the disclaimer with this cube, but that's also gives you incentive to maybe find it from somewhere that you think you might get an older version. That's, wink wink, that's just something to kind of think of. I would always recommend, honestly, even with Amazon, the Cubicle usually gives them a run for their money. I haven't found many better prices than the Cubicle. But yeah, this is just one that, again, between the facts about old cubes and whatnot and in different versions, and you might want to look some other places on this one, but they also might have just fixed it, and the new ones might be amazing. I haven't tried them, so don't go too heavily off of what I say. All I can say is what I like about my cube and how the experience I've had has been. But yeah, I think that's it, everyone. The next, we still have another more versions or more episodes coming up in this Versus series. So I'm waiting on some cubes actually to show up in the mail. I have I want to do a series on just cubes with edge repelling magnets. I think that there's been a lot of controversy whether edge repelling magnets and slash maglev are better or worse for your cube, and so I really wanted to get some cubes that have not only maglev but have edge repelling magnets in them, so we can really go over maybe not only how they perform but how to lube, how to really set them up so you can control them, because I've heard a lot of people say that the edge repelling magnets and whatnot make it uncontrollably fast and whatnot, where I've found the opposite. Every cube I've used with edge repelling magnets is my favorite. It feels so smooth. There's almost no friction between pieces and whatnot. And if you just get your lube, kind of down right and your tensioning and whatnot, I found very little problems with getting that set up. So our next episode will be on cubes with edge repelling magnets and how to set them up so they're not too fast and you can still get your best times with the best versions of the cubes. That's all for now. You guys take care. Peace out. This has been CC Cube Slayer saying have a good one. Another cube real quick that I don't have, but I want to make sure I mention in this because I think it's going to be a big deal. There's actually a couple cubes, but one of them I don't even have the specs on yet, so it's be really hard to give you the information on that. But Chi or X-Man Designs has come out with a new 5x5 called the Hong, and it is $49.95. But it's brand new. It just came out. It's magnetic, and it does have a magnetic core built in. It has a red ball core inside. It is also UV coated, which these have all been glossy plastic so far. They look nice and they're fine with me, but on the new cubes, they actually come UV coated with a magnetic core, and that's the X-Men Hong 5x5. And so I would say keep an eye out for that. I haven't had a chance to get it yet. I'm definitely going to. The other one that I wanted to mention is GAN has a 5x5 coming out. I don't know if it's UV coated, and I don't know about a ball core. They've just been teasing it for a long time, and I've seen plenty of videos on it now, so I know it's a reality. I don't know the price. I mean, like I said, I really don't know anything about that cube except that it does exist and it's going to be out there. So if you are looking, if none of this was strikes your fancy, don't worry. There's all kinds of new cubes and there's all kinds of new tech coming out for 5x5. That's why I mentioned the magnetic cores for different versions, because that's becoming a new thing, and this year they seem to be implementing the magnetic cores into their new cubes. So lots of new really cool cubes to look out for, especially new big cubes, which hasn't had a lot of innovations in a while. So just want to say there's something really cool to look forward to, especially in the X-Men Design Hong 5x5. And really too, there's the Diane Nasia. That's another one I've never bought, never used. Really hard for me to give any advice about, but it's out there. I know that JR Cuber or Jesse from the Cubicle uses that cube, and I don't think he would use it if it was a bad cube. So that's another one that's always worth checking out. Maybe read the reviews and read some extra info on that one. But you guys take care. I just wanted to make sure I included everything. So peace. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace. Yellow.